What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and tonight we're talking about Miss Marvel yet again, answering the question, hit or miss? Marvel? Get it? Anyway, the sixth and final episode of what is presumed to be season 1 of Miss Marvel. Maybe it's just a limited series. Who knows? Speaking of limited series, it's Manny. What is up?
Station, brother. Thank you again for having me on, and thank you, Brandon, for not showing up again. That, you know, whatever. If any time you don't want to show up, I'll take any spot you throw for me. You know.
Yeah. Well, you don't just have to. I mean, you could have had a spot. You know, first dibs, man. You know.
I know. But
you were like, I know Brando's going to flake out for half the episode, so I'm good.
Absolutely.
Speaking of flaking out, it's Phable. I'm giving you guys terrible introductions. You're the opposite of a flake out because you use Head and Shoulders. Anyway, what is up, Phable?
Chilling, man. Pump. Thank you, Kevin Feige. Thank you.
All right. I feel what you're saying. And now, the second best comic reviewer on OnlyFans is Nick from Comic Culture.
Link down below. Subscribe. You guys have been great. 1,000 subs in a week. It's insane. You guys are awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks, Robbie. Thanks for having me on again.
And
guys.
your very first sub on OnlyFans is here as well. So, surprise. It's Taqi. What is up, my man?
I did it with my eyes closed, though, man. Did what? We won't talk about, but it was with my eyes closed.
All right, I like that.
Yeah, OnlyFans and okay.
Well, thank you all for being here. And of course, spoiler talk for Miss Marvel episode 6. And this is going to be the one that probably will have the most chatter online. I've already seen it blowing up soon. I watched it first thing this morning, and I'm glad I did because it was all over the place. So we'll be talking about spoilers. And yes, William, Feige hates the Inhumans.
Yeah, he does.
So much. And Ronnie, I cannot wait to hear my thoughts either. Rock on. All right, so overall, episode 6, I thought was actually a pretty decent finale, but it didn't feel like it was the capstone we needed for this series. Like it had all of the elements. She gets the costume. They're up against damage control, but they never had a good threat that tied it all together. I feel like they lost their pace and momentum when they went to Pakistan. I think that was some cool stuff that they did there, but it made the 6 episodes a little bit clunky. We were talking a little bit before we went on air that maybe 2 more episodes, like an 8-episode series for this story probably could have done a lot better, because then you got, say, episodes 3, 4, and 5, where you can spend in Pakistan and do your time travel bit and all that stuff and still have room to increase the threat of the villain. So we never had, I mean, the ultimate villain of this whole goddamn thing, y'all, wasn't Najma, wasn't Cameron. It was like this Islamophobic fucking damage control woman on her last day of work. Do you know what I'm saying? This is like the Michael Douglas and Falling Down. This is like her day, you know? So that kind of was a little lackluster. I felt like they had to jam a lot of stuff into this final episode, but it had some moments that hit, including both of the moments at the end, because first and foremost, it's confirmed she's a mutant. So that's the first confirmed MCU mutant is outside of, I guess, Xavier from Doctor Strange or whatever. So
Yeah.
they're going to start doing that. Hopefully she's like, imagine the first X-Men movie and it's like fucking her and like Kate Bishop. They find out Kate Bishop's a mutant too. It's like, oh yeah, we're not using any of the Fox X-Men. Wait, what? No, we're not doing Wolverine. We're doing Dakin. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay. Anyway, but overall, I thought the episode was okay, but it had to do a lot in a little bit of time, and that seems to be the problem. But I did get more of excitement from the 2 bits at the end here than I did from Thor, from the end of Thor. You know what I'm saying?
true.
So I don't know. We're not going into Thor spoilers or anything yet. But anyway, Manny, what do you think about the 6th episode overall, which is called No Normal, the name of the first story arc of the comic?
I liked it. I liked it. I didn't like the ending. Like I didn't mind the very end post credit scene. I didn't like the mutant twist thing at all. Like at fucking all. But other than that,
do you remember back in those days in the comics, they were having that beef because Fox had the X-Men rights, and so they were like, we're not going to push X-Men anymore. So they were really trying to make the Inhumans the new mutants, right?
Yep.
But nobody was having it. Nobody was having it at all. We're like, no, we're not going for this.
That's
And now it's like they're undoing all that Inhuman shit. Like Miss Marvel was a product of that. Like what would her origin had been if they weren't doing this Inhumans thing? It may have just been as simple as she's a mutant.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
The problem though is that fucking they told us she's a djinn. Like she comes from a lineage of interdimensional people. So like now it just feels like they're like somebody at Marvel was like, she's a fucking mutant. All right, because we need to do something. San Diego Comic-Con's come up. We need to do something. And that's what they did. Like I didn't fucking. But I liked the rest of the episode. Thought it was cool. I don't know how the hell nobody knows who her secret identity is now, because they straight up took all her friends. Her only friends were all taken in by damage control. Her dad straight up like beta, all fucking just yelling it out all the entire ending of this episode. Like I don't know how they're gonna play with the secret identity going forward. But it was cool. It's good when she's with Bruno. It's good when she's with Taqi. It was good when she was in Pakistan too, but it didn't have to go to Pakistan. Her grandmother could have just come to visit, and a Red Dagger could have followed them to Jersey City, and we would have had the exact same thing, just with a little bit less cool imagery. So that being said, the episode was fine. And I rambled a bit, but it was fine.
No, that's fine, man. That's what we're here for, man. Manny's rambles, man. Come on. Speaking of rambling, Ramble On and Ramblin' Man is some of Phable's favorite tunes I have heard on Nick's OnlyFans. Those are some of the little tidbits that we get, a little bit of shared information. Anyway, Phable, what did you think about this episode overall?
I think this episode started off a lot like the episode before. It's a lot of convenient things going on. A lot of, like you said, a lot of putting a lot into one thing, not letting really a lot breathe. It was rushed, but like you, the last bits got me excited, got me amped again, got me into it. So it saved it at the end, and I liked it. I liked it.
All right. So overall, you liked it. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I think I have to just kind of reiterate what we just said. I mean, it definitely had a pacing issue. The last episode did a lot of crazy, weird things, but I think having seen the first 5 episodes, you kind of adjust your expectations of what this show is going to be. And I think it's executed well in this last episode, and it met my expectations. It crammed a lot of little things in there. Like, we should be celebrating the whole mutant thing, and I think some people are, but like, I didn't want it that way. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted it to be more impactful, more meaningful. It just felt kind of cheap, right? He kind of comes up and he's like, yeah, you're different, you got a mutation, you're a mutant. It's like, oh, we've been waiting for so long for those words to be spoken in continuity, and it just felt like it wasn't really earned, and it was just kind of shoehorned in.
Well, and in case you didn't pick up on it, how important it was, they did the little now, you know,
yeah,
just in case you forgot,
just in case you needed that little guitar riff again, if you didn't see Doctor Strange. But yeah, I think it was cool. We'll get into the different components of the episode itself. But I mean, overall, I think it was true. It was consistent. That second to last episode 5, I think ruined it. and I think it carried over a little bit into this episode. 2 more episodes would have been great. I don't mind going to Pakistan at all. I love those episodes. I thought they were pretty cool, but that episode 5 really sucked. And I think it really kind of pulled into episode 6 and kind of ruined it for me a little bit. But, there's some definite good stuff in there, though.
Speaking of pulling into episode 6 and ruining it, Return of the Jedi was going to have Wookiees till Taqi told George Lucas, no, Ewoks. Anyway, what did you think about the overall of episode 6?
Well, it wasn't the episode that I wanted. It was the episode that we got. At one point, I did start hate watching this episode, but it was all directed towards the stupid damage control agent who still walked in the mosque with her shoes on and is talking about chronic verses. I wish the Sheik would have started spitting some Dr. Dre at that point, or Snoop or something. That would have blown my. That's what I needed in this episode. It didn't have the one thing like the biryani in a bag or grab the Zamzam. It didn't have that one thing for me that this kind of like, okay, I'm going to kind of like this episode. This earned a lot of points for me. But the fight at the end, the final battle, that got me. And the after credits, when somebody came out the closet, looking younger than all of them. Yeah, I was like, dang, is that her?
She's looking good, man. She's looking hella good. Well, man, I'm just going to say.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what I thought about it.
All right. Let's skip into the costume, because we finally see the costume full on. We've seen it before. We've seen it in promotional imagery and I'm sure in trailers and whatnot, but we get to see it in action in person. And I love the costume. I think the costume looks great. It's a great cinematic adaptation of the comic book costume. That was a very convenient part, though, that her mom's like, hey, we made this fucking superhero suit for you, by the way, like overnight, like
in a toffee box.
Yeah, and completely understood like what, and it was based on your like broken jewelry. I don't know, it's weird, but I think the costume looks cool, and it looked cool practically while everything was going on. What'd you think about the costume, Manny? Sup, we?
Dude, I'm a fan. I like the costume. The costume it's comic book accurate. It like you said, it looked good on screen. They didn't do a bunch of weird shit like make it look like it's made out of like the same material as a Spalding basketball or some bullshit. Like they made it look like a homemade costume that still looked well on screen. The colors, they popped, they didn't like make them super muted or anything. I don't know. I dug it.
What'd you think, Phable?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was, like you said, a great movie version of her comic book costume. But like you, I was like, oh my God, what is this? She's like the best seamstress ever. The best. She could really sew a costume, I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's awesome.
She's almost as good as Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. Almost. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks really cool. I think again, the too many conveniences around it, the creation of it. But if we're just judging on the aesthetics of the costume itself and how it looks compared to what we would hope it would look like, I think they did a good job. I think they did a really good job. Even some of the CGI parts where she was kind of like bouncing around, like they did fairly well with all that. The scarf and everything. I thought that the red bandana that she was kind of given would be like the scarf or the version that we were going to get. In a way, maybe she'd tuck it or something like that. But yeah, I liked it. Too many conveniences built around it, but aesthetically, I think it's great. It's pretty accurate to the source material. So they did a good job.
Speaking of great aesthetics, Taqi, what do you think?
I thought they nailed it. They knocked it out of the park. Maybe a little too well. I thought it was a little form fitting. First time ever I caught feelings looking at Ms. Marvel, but I think that's kind of, she's a woman, so that's kind of what's going to happen. But I was like, okay,
all right.
It looks like
Nick's like OnlyFans idea, Miss Marvel costume.
Miss Marvel,
right?
I can fund it on that donation. Taqi,
put that at a $50 level or some shit or whatever. I don't know how they do it over there. Anyway, let's get into the majority of this episode, which I'd like to call Home Alone in a school. Right? It's like Home Alone.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But it's in a school. And it's cute. And it did try to rekindle some of that magic we had in those first few episodes. The Jersey vibe, right? With her and her friends. But I don't know. They have to do so much silly shit. And it almost just, so much was happening that it kind of felt jumbled. And I'm like, what? They got this infinite fucking heavy foam that they're gonna like that takes out the majority of damage control. The chick that was running the whole show and disobeying the orders and all that. So like there was no satisfying climax to that, nor was there ever, I don't know, like Najma and that all that the clandestine, all that should have been this big fight. Cameron's heel turn was only for like what 30 seconds, you know, a little bit, but I liked that ending. I liked that emotional connection that they were doing. I liked Red Dagger's involvement. So overall I kind of liked it, but it did kind of, I mean, it's like it's Home Alone. It's Rambo Last Blood. It's just a little less dangerous, I guess. What'd you think, Manny?
That sequence was just fun. I don't know. I was watching it at the dinner table with my kids, and I don't know, my son seemed to be enthralled with what was going on. The moment where Cameron looks like he's gonna like when he's kind of fighting with Kamala in the hallway, I thought, oh shit, he's gonna be the villain, and all of this entire Home Alone sequence that we just sat through is for nothing, and that's gonna really suck because this series needed more time, and we just wasted a bunch of time on sight gags. Like, yeah. so I that got me a little pissed off, but that final climactic scene with the cops and everything was cool. Damage control agents hit like a bitch because they beat the shit out of Bruno, and he's in that van. And he doesn't have a spot on him. So at this point, I don't need superpowers. If I run into damage control, they hit like a bitch.
Yeah, but they got them like sonic cannons, right? Which they're like allegedly it's non-lethal, but they're blowing fucking holes in walls, man.
Through like the corners of concrete walls. And
like,
shit.
what's that gonna do if it hits a human? Like, what
put a hole in it. Yeah, right. Crazy, man.
Like, yeah, and like I said, he straight up pistol whips Bruno, and Bruno's anyway. Either that or Bruno's immune. Yeah. Maybe we'll find out. Bruno's immune.
Bruno's immune.
Fuck. So yeah, it was but it was satisfying. The end battle with her and the cops, where she's literally just doing damage control, like she's not really fighting anybody, just like keeping Cameron's powers at bay. That was probably the best part of the whole climactic Home Alone sequence. But
yeah,
it was good.
One thing that struck me was apparently this school at night, they're just like turn black lights on. Because everything would look like it was lit by a black light. I'm like, is this a school or a fucking skating rink? I don't know where we are right now. I don't get it, but
Jersey schools need to earn funding somehow, bro. You know, nighttime raves and midnight bowling in the gym, dude.
Well, we know another use for black lights, you know, so maybe they're just trying to make sure that school is clean. You know,
Jersey, I don't know.
Yeah. It's Jersey, it's high school. You know, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, you never know. Phable. I was trying to think of something, and the only places I was going to go were like masturbation jokes, and I decided to spare you that.
There you go.
So, Phable, what did you think about the Home Alone in a school bit? And also, she finally says the word "embiggen," so we kind of get that, you know, and yeah, it's interesting.
except she looked like fucking Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster outfit at the fucking end of Endgame
with like a floating head.
Yeah, just a head with a big ass purple body. Anyway,
yeah, this sequence. As soon as I saw it, I thought Home Alone. That was the first thing that came into my head, and then I was kind of like Taqi, a little hate watching it, just like, oh my god, really? There's just all the convenient stuff happened in this sequence, like the brother showing up. Like, hey, what are you doing here? Oh, I was just following you. Damage control couldn't find them, but the brother found them like nothing, you know? And and you know, Cameron, oh, let me just punch this hole in the floor and you'll get away. Like, how do you even know there's a tunnel under there? Like, she just punched the floor, and a lot of that was going on. So there was a lot of eye rolling for me. But again, the friends are there, and this is some of the best stuff when the friends are there and they're having their jokes and they're having their fun. So that saved it for me. But yeah, a little too eye rolly for me. I was like, oh brother, but it was all right.
Did you like it that in kind of the style they brought back they tried to bring a little bit back of that animated style, but
that's why I got mad at it, because like I was like, oh, this is where you start animating stuff.
Yeah,
Pakistan, hello. You got all that beauty out there. You can do some great stuff with that.
Kevin Feige's like, how much fucking money do you think we have, Phable? We're only goddamn Disney.
All of it.
God bless.
Nick, what'd you think about Macaulay Culkin in the high school skating rink?
I think they tried to rekindle some of that magic we saw when they were trying to do the Adventure Con heist, right? So it was like they had the blackboard up. They're like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this, but it wasn't as cool. They didn't execute as well, right? Like just the planning montage just wasn't. The only thing they did was they brought in weird characters that had no right being there. We don't know how they got there. I mean, we do, but like, it didn't make any sense, right? That didn't help that. I actually saw it. My daughter was with me this morning when I watched it first thing, and she saw the elephant toothpaste explosion of that big goo that you were talking about that like took out half of them. And that's like a Mr. Beast thing. Anyway, so she was super excited to see that first off. And she definitely wanted to get a fire extinguisher and see if that could actually work like on a bike to propel her forward. But I don't know, man. Again, I lowered my expectations a little bit. I understood what we were going to get. And I think that really helped. I'm like, it's going to be stupid. It's going to be silly. Damage control is going to be stupid. They're not going to know how to deal with this threat. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it for what it is. And it was kind of fun. But obviously, like you guys were saying, I think the best part was the end when we actually got to the actual battles with damage control, when she really kind of came into her powers, when she morphed up and everything. So we'll talk about that. But like the school stuff, lower expectations. I think it'll be all right. I think we knew what we were going to get going into this.
What about you, Taqi?
I think the best part of the school thing was the disco ball and the Indian disco music playing, the Bollywood disco music. I really like that part, but the rest of it was kind of, I've seen it before, and I'm not really sure where it falls in here. And it was kind of a way for them to kind of, go forward with character arcs like Zoe. We got to see Zoe become a hero.
Yeah.
And she was only in the show a total of like 15 minutes. So, I mean, I'm talking about the whole, I didn't mean the show. I meant the whole series.
The whole
for like
series,
for like 15 minutes. So, and then her and, she's kind of looking at Nakia like, hi, I kind of like you. But they don't want to touch that. So,
Not that.
no, trust me, they won't get any play in Pakistan if they do that. So, yeah, they can't go there.
What do you think about special effects?
You know what? I wish they would have saved some of the money, hired Manny, got Mr. Beast, and give us what we had in episode 1, because that was what really like makes me love this. Work. Yeah, there you go. But that's what makes me love this series is what I saw in episode 1 with all the graffiti moving and all they needed to do that the whole way through. Yes. And I thought since they didn't do it in any of the other episodes outside of episode 1, they definitely do it in episode 6. But I got what they gave me what they could. I guess Feige couldn't afford that. So
but I mean, that's a great point. Like, I wish they would have kept that Scott Pilgrim vibe through all the episodes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Give us those cool. Can you imagine that if they actually did that in Pakistan? Right? What I think
what
was talking about. You have so much.
As soon as it was missing,
we knew it immediately.
I know. Yeah,
it was like episode 3, right? We're like, what the hell happened to all those cool graphics?
It started going down. It wasn't really in episode 2, and then it was like gone. And then I think we saw like a text bubble in episode 3. Completely gone in episode 4, nothing in episode 5. So,
they did some real shitty animation in episode 5. I mean, you got the rocks and the 1995 fucking Windows clip art skeletons. So you had all of that shit.
Clip art.
But
those look bad, man.
It was bad. Yeah.
That makes the first Mortal Kombat movie look fucking phenomenal, man.
You know when you're Scorpion and you do like the finish in MK1 and you get that weird like hunched over. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, you're right. Or that MK2 reptile acid bath. Yeah.
Let's get into this real quick then, because I think that overall, like some of the editing and the stuff they would do with that, the animation was cool, but the CG when it had to be used more, which was in these last couple episodes, it was off. It's like, why are they so fucking cheap on the CG on these shows? Like the fucking Moon Knight cape, these skeletons, the crystal effect looked. I've seen crystal CG effects like that growing crystal look so much better. Think of like recent Superman movies and shit, even right or like Manny's right. There you go, man.
Look, right there.
Manny, since
hold on, don't embiggen.
What did you think, Manny? I mean, why are we getting this cheap ass shit from Marvel, man? As far as CG goes,
because they they don't care. We're gonna watch it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter.
That's the truth.
You're gonna watch it because everybody's hoping that there's gonna be some like random appearance from some other fucking Marvel property in your fucking show,
Whoa.
and you're just like fuck.
See, look,
that
was amazing.
And we're gonna talk about it regardless, right? Moon Knight looked like shit. So what do? They make him look like shit because that gives us shit to talk about, which builds hype for the property. They just don't care. The rock effect that came over all of the I'm guessing the clandestine were somehow also fucking mutants, but they the rock effect that went over them too. Like, not only was there like a not give a fuck in those textures, there was also like a big fuck you to the Inhumans and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they did the exact same fucking thing that happens and they get the Terrigen Mists on that show. They get covered in rocks that were poorly rendered, and then they break out of said rock. So like if I don't know, I think it's just a flex. I think they're just like, well, we can get by with it.
Yeah.
So
it's
let's
the paper
do it.
quality of the comics. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Wow, what a way to wrap it all up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
I've been saying this a lot lately because there's this idea going around and people going, is there a direction? Like, is there something that we are building up to? Because we've had 6 movies and ungodly amount of hours of Disney Plus shows. And what's the fucking thread? In phase 1, you get the idea that we're building to the Avengers. And then 5 movies later, you have the Avengers and then Thanos. Like, and I get it. I just feel like they don't try as hard. Right. And I think that hits right on what you guys were saying. They don't have to. They're Marvel. We're going to watch this. We don't care. Like, maybe they should, but as far as that goes.
How shitty is it if you don't have Disney Plus and you went and watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? You have no fucking clue what's going on in that if you have not watched Disney Plus. Like,
right.
There was a synergy in the first parts of Marvel of the MCU because we had to watch it twice a year as this big event, and they had to keep the story flowing in a way that we could understand. Now they're just like, well, shit, we do whatever we want, and now now you want to know more about X-Men? Well, you're gonna have to watch X-Men 97. You want to know more about, what I mean? Like, it's very difficult. It's going to become like reading fucking X-Men on the shelf. There's going to be so much stuff you have to know to get what's going on. That I don't want to have to. I love people too much, panel, not to warn them. I don't want anyone to have to suffer through fucking Knights of X. No one should have to go through that. All right, and that is what's going to happen to our beloved MCU if we keep going.
This might be the B team, if there is a B team working on this phase, while the A team is working on X-Men and Fantastic Four, because that's something they cannot mess up. You want to see something crash overnight? Mess the X-Men up. Mess them up. You're gonna see it's gonna go bad.
I don't know, man. Fox did it just fine for about 20 years. So
yeah, but after the MCU conquered Hollywood for 10 years, and now they have X-Men, you know why there's this excitement.
The stakes are high, man.
Well, that's why they had to make. That's why they had to make when they were bringing in mutants. They had to bring the best, man. Charles Xavier and I almost said Jean-Luc Picard and Patrick Stewart playing them, and Miss Marvel. Like really to really nail it. So
yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about that. The mutant thing. I kind of liked it. I didn't mind it. I don't mind it. I'll say, because everybody was wondering, are they going to mention that she's an Inhuman? They don't. She's a mutant. That's fine, because Inhumans should be their thing. They shouldn't be what mutants should be. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, Inhumans shouldn't just be popping up across the fucking globe and with at adolescence or whatever. Like, that's the mutant thing. Like, when they tried to force the Inhuman mold into that, it didn't work. So let the Inhuman mold be that classic Kirby Inhuman mold. Let it be like a hidden city somewhere. We're cool with hidden cities in the MCU. We love them. Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? So we're about to get Atlantis, right? So we're totally cool with it. But it does almost feel like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, because at the same time, they're like, she's a mutant. But then they make certain to be like, oh, but also because of the family connection, with the clandestine. So they're like, there's this plus you're a mutant. So is Cameron a mutant too? Like, I don't know. And we're already getting into that, but I did like the little musical note. I mean, why not? That's the damn, just think about it. Forevermore, that's the theme that's going to be associated with the X-Men.
Damn right.
Something that some dude probably put together on a Casio keyboard in like 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Manny, the mutant thing. Thoughts?
Fuck the mutant. No, that's the thing. I don't mind her being a mutant. Like, I don't mind her being a mutant. I mind that we spent 4 episodes setting up these interdimensional clandestine people, and now she's just a mutant.
Just put Josh on the panel. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And someone needs to check on Perry, make sure he's okay, because
This Marvel one.
he's getting very philosophical. I am a human.
Shit.
What makes a human a human? Is that a haiku? What's going on, Perry? That's nice, actually. I like that.
He's been talking to Power Max a little too much.
Yeah.
I think Perry is brought to you by Supweed. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Supweed. So yeah, no, I that part I just didn't like that it was tacked on. That I didn't care for. But otherwise that was fine. The Miss Marvel thing at the end.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
It's
on the same line item on my show.
Yeah, I know.
Notes, so
I didn't want to overwhelm you guys and put too many numbers down. You know, so.
but yeah,
After like 6, I get confused. So
yeah,
No,
the mutant thing works. I want the mutants to have always been here, and I want Charles Xavier to just have been fucking erasing our memory of it for all this time, so that I don't know. This is the first mutant, so where the other mutant? It raises so many questions. Just two.
What if they do this? What if they do this X-Men 97 animated series, and then they're like, oh, by the way, the original X-Men animated series, that's MCU. Like, so that's the X-Men. They're going to get 97, and then so now they're all old, so they're going to be teaching the new class, like Miss Marvel and Nova and Ironheart.
Spider-Man
Don't do that to me.
No.
X-Men 97 is going to end with a group of mutants who are the clandestine traveling over into the 616, and that is why Kamala is a mutant. See, it all makes sense. It's all fucking Feige being a genius.
Oh, he's a genius, man. And George Lucas had every fucking Star Wars movie meticulously planned out from the beginning. Phable, what'd you think about the mutant bit?
I liked it. I like that she's a mutant. I never liked Terrigen Mist and none of that stuff. God bless Kirby. I just don't like the concept of Inhumans and that kind of thing. I don't like too much.
Watch where you tread right now, bro. Watch
where
you
I'm
tread.
telling you, it's just how I feel. I think it creates bigger problems than we need. But that's just another conversation. So I like that she's a mutant, and she's not from another dimension. Her grandmother is. She had human parents, for the most part, I think.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
yeah, no, I like that she's a mutant, because I like that better of an explanation for how she is, rather than a Bengal, rather than Miss, rather than all that stuff. I like that better. But that's just my personal feeling. I do agree. It does feel tacked on at the end. It does. It's like you thought you were watching this and nothing big was going to happen. Well, check this out. And they just throw like one of the biggest bombs.
Yeah. Because they knew they weren't going to get the pop with Brie Larson that they wanted, probably.
Right.
Not from like the general fandom. No, from the people that like the show, that like Captain Marvel, definitely. Because we'll get to that. But Nick, what do you think about the mutant agenda?
Yeah, I'm trying to reconcile all that, because you remember in the training montage, she had like the iPad up scanning her body, and that we talked about this, I think, in one of the episodes too. She had like this source inside of her that the Bengal was trying to help bring out of her. You know what I mean? So I feel like we had an explanation for her powers, and I feel like it still makes sense that if it was just within the family, because Grandma had it, Mom denied it. She didn't go down that path. She held back. She restricted herself. Maybe she could have developed those powers as well. But it makes sense for her mom not to have any kind of powers, because she was kind of ashamed of it. She hid away from it, right? And then Kamala embraces it. And so it kind of comes back out a little bit, So I feel like we had the explanations we needed. The Bengal was there to kind of help harness it. It was inside of her the whole time, that kind of a thing. So I don't think we needed it, and I think we deserved a little bit of a, like I said before, a proper introduction for mutants, other than a one-liner that he just kind of throws out there when we didn't even need it. That show, if we didn't have that line, none of us would be like, "Well, I wonder where our powers came from." It's like, no, we knew where it came from. We just watched 6 episodes of this shit, and we saw where it came from and how it manifested.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I thought it would be
wait a
more
minute.
of a Kree influence, obviously. You know?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
what
all
I
had
thought.
theories in the beginning. They abandoned all that stuff, and then we kind of accepted
It's never
that way.
fucking complex. It's never like some kind
No,
of
it's always the
complicated comic
easiest-
book plot.
No,
You
it's
can
always
tell-
the easiest stuff.
You could tell that whole mutant scene was a shot later and added, because Bruno slips a note into her locker and then walks away. That is exactly how, if you were writing this shit, you would have ended the fucking episode. You wouldn't have had a 1 week later sting with him showing up and telling her she's a mutant. And like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that,
totally.
no one would have written an emotional scene like that just to fucking discount it 2 seconds later.
And
So
then go see her a
somebody-
week later.
Yeah,
That's
somebody at Marvel fucking was like, no, we need to, this is the direction. Feige fucking woke up from his weed nap and was like, fucking mutants, and then they threw that in there.
And it's
All right, but
don't
what if it would have ended without any of that? I think you would have been more upset at the episode, because it was, we just complained about it a little bit.
Well, they could have done the whole note in the thing, right? And then they could have went right to her in her bedroom, going on the thing with the dad and everything. You know what I mean? Like they could have just done that.
For me, when the whole the whole ending sequence, Home Alone thing was funny, but it wasn't that great. And if that was the ending, that would have been bad.
Yeah,
The
you
show
needed some
came
kind of
back.
closer.
The show came back to life as soon as all those tweets started coming out, where they showing
Yes.
the blogs and all the videos
Yeah.
and everybody. When the what was it? The what's his name? I don't want to say it wrong.
The halal
priest.
guy. Oh,
No,
the
the
imam.
Oh, he was
The
a
mom.
hot dog?
He was a hot dog.
Oh, God, I
I
love
thought that
it.
was hilarious. All the
If he was a Snoop Dogg, though, man. Whew.
Yeah,
No.
all the charm and
Yeah.
special effects and everything that I like came back at that moment, and it was good from then on. So I'm
This
glad
is
they-
this is my
you know?
problem with it. Miss Marvel in the comics has never been a mutant, never associated with the mutants, never been on an X-Men team. That's my problem with it. It just seems a little cheap to kind of throw it in at the end. Kind of along the lines of what Nick says. Now that it's here, I'm happy. I wish it would have been Laura Kinney. I wish it would have been Laura Kinney. And or maybe here's my friend Laura, and then as she walks away, 2 blades come out of her hand. That would have been dope. But
Yeah, and this is a risky show to put that in too, because like Kamala, I mean, not a lot of people knew what this was. I'm wondering what the overall budget was for this show versus another MCU show, because it's a relatively unknown character. I'm not talking about the people in this panel, the people in this chat. I'm talking the general population. Nobody knows who Miss Marvel is. Nobody knows who Kamala Khan is. They might recognize her, but like this is a risky thing to add into this show, because they knew the outside audience probably wouldn't be on board. The hardcore people would be, but like to throw it in at the very end like that, I don't know.
They're
It's
wanting
weird.
it to trend right now. They're
Well,
removed
they need
enough.
something.
Maybe
Mhm.
there is some strategy involved, because they're
That's
removed
true.
enough from Stranger Things. They're after Obi-Wan. They're kind of in this in between. They got Thor right now, so Marvel's already kind of trending. They probably thought it'd be trending a little bit more positively after Thor, and then you pop this X-Men announcement, right? We'll see. And San Diego's coming up, and there will probably be some kind of X announcement, maybe. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
I feel like the screenwriters were toying with this. They're not going to call her an Inhuman, but they're going to keep, because like I said, they reuse imagery from Inhumans that we've seen before in the MCU. They reuse that intentionally. You know what I mean? The power is coming within you as though she's born with it, like she has some sort of deviation. Like there was I think that they were toying with that early on, and that's why I think that that's why I think I don't like the mutant thing, because it feels like they were going in a different direction, and then they just called it audible,
Yeah.
As long as they don't continue to just like make anybody they want a mutant, like if they're like Miles Morales is a mutant, he's got spider powers.
Yep.
Why not? We're not going to repeat the
Yeah.
same fucking thing that happened to Peter, because that would be preposterous,
Yeah,
right?
but I liked her response to it too, though. I like her response. It's like it's just going to be another label.
Yep.
And I like that. I like how.
Oh, that was
she
brilliant.
dropped
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
because
great line.
I-
Because it doesn't
yeah.
mean she's going to be an X-Men. It just
That's what
they
I'm thinking.
exist.
Yeah, she just
Yeah.
that's how she gets her powers. Influenced, obviously, probably by the bracelet, which is of Kree origin. I am certain now. Because of the Captain Marvel bit, we knew, everybody fucking knew Captain Marvel was going to show up at the end of this. And overall, I liked the Captain Marvel movie. So when she popped up, what I liked about it was the way it happened, because the band gets activated. And then what happens? The switcheroo, that Rick Jones, Captain Marvel shit we were talking about. So I think now Kamala is wherever Captain Marvel was, which is like somewhere out there in space. And now like the Marvels is going to open up with Brie Larson busting out of Kamala's fucking, they're like, where the fuck am I? And so that's how you get involved. Not that she's looking for this thing, but I think it's connected. It's gotta be, right? Or is it connected just because she's a fan? Then there's also a possibility that somebody was saying, because the very first Miss Marvel book, since she's a shapeshifter, shapeshifts into Captain Marvel. And somebody's like, what if it was that? But I don't think it was that, because Brie Larson comes in there. She's confused about where the fuck she is. Because she's looking around. She's in a shrine to her.
Freaked out.
You're freaked out. So
awesome.
I liked it. I liked the way that it did, because they used the whole nega band effect. I really like that. I'm interested now to see how they explore that in the Marvels. And Brie Larson, who I've always thought was a very attractive woman, has obviously been working out, but that suit now fits different. It's a different looking suit, and I think it looked fine. You know what I'm saying, man? What about you, Manny? What do you think about the Captain Marvel bit?
I mean, I liked it. It was funny. I didn't mind. I don't have the connection to the nega bands that probably you guys do. I'm not as seasoned of a comic reader, but I just hope that the Marvels doesn't open with Kamala Khan floating dead in space because she was flying through orbit. That's what I'm hoping does not happen.
This is where we get into some real Green Lantern shit, dude. She's gonna be like in a mech that she's made or some shit.
But yeah, I think that it will help. Again, with there'll be all kinds of Screen Crush and Screen Rant headlines all over the place and shit, and people will take this time off where there's not a lot of programming on Disney Plus to go and maybe check out a show that they slept on because they heard all these mutants and Captain Marvel showing up stuff. So I think it was smart on Marvel's part, and it will tie in the next Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel film. And again, just like Doctor Strange, you're shit out of luck if you did not watch.
People are gonna go watch the Marvels and be like, "Who the fuck is Miss Marvel? What the fuck's going on? Why is Captain Marvel in this fucking teenager's room? Why are there all these posters of her?"
Oh gosh, what a time to be alive.
What a time. We can't criticize these things though. Just be happy you have them, Pig.
Yes.
Get your slot.
Yeah, you know what they too is they put that fucking thing in, just like Scream fucking 4. They're like, or Scream 5, whatever the latest bullshit was, where she goes, it's just a label, so that when assholes like me get on YouTube and say, she's not a fucking mutant, she's an Inhuman, they'll say, it's just a label. It's just a label. They did that meta shit.
Yeah,
so,
they did. They even had Toxic Fandom be the murderer.
Yeah.
And it was Huey. Now that I'm watching The Boys, I'm like, that was Huey. That makes that. Maybe I need to rewatch it. I know I'll have to, because that's how we're kicking off Horror Fest. Anyway, Phable, what did you think about the Captain Marvel bit?
I liked it. I don't know if it's because I feel like she's an underdog a little bit, Brie Larson. She kind of got like attacked and stuff, and I don't know. I like seeing her back and unfazed and looking good, and the whole
and not having a stupid ass haircut.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah, she was looking good.
Sorry, bro.
So yeah, no, I just like seeing her back. I feel like it's a triumph, a win, and then
I like seeing her back as well.
And it was funny, her being in that shrine was hilarious.
Yeah,
she was like, no, like what? So that was good. I liked it.
A little creepy. Imagine you pop up into a room and there's a bunch of pictures of you. You know what I'm saying? All over the damn place. Which is like a room that Nick has. Nick,
I was gonna say, I was waiting for it. I was like, you talking about like Nick's room right now? Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. I think you're absolutely right. I think they swap places. What I hope is happening right now is I hope she's in some kind of like war-torn planet somewhere that she can like survive, and I hope that she goes from like this innocent coming into her powers kind of thing to like some kind of like rugged like Hope Summers kind of a character.
She's going to show up with a fucking metal arm or some
Right,
shit,
with
missing an
metal
eye.
arm, like bullets
With the
and
other
stuff,
band.
and, like
She's like
guns and-
Exiles fucking Kamala Khan. If anybody ever read that Exiles run, like
yeah,
where they first did Captain Carter, I think. But yeah, Kamala's like she's like older, but she's in a world that's like war torn like that.
yeah,
So she's
exactly.
like she's like fucking Linda Hamilton as fucking what's her name? Sarah Connor.
Sarah
Yeah.
Connor.
Connor.
Yeah. She's exactly. She's like Rob Williams and Jumanji being in there for forever, right? He comes out, he's just like, I'm prepared for everything, dude. So I can't. Yeah, I hope that's what's happening right now.
That would be a way different Miss Marvel season 2 if they did that.
They
Where
will.
have you been?
Hey, well, you
It's
can
the
hope-
MCU. They will undo it immediately. The
yeah.
beginning of the Marvels. The beginning of the Marvels is going to be her sitting with fucking the Nova Corps because they found the other bangle and that's why it activated, and they will completely undo everything they just did because the filmmakers and the writers for Captain Marvel don't want to be dealing with what the fuck this show did. You know what I mean?
Well,
So they will
yeah.
undo it instantly.
Well, that's a good point because I think we're getting into our powers now, but we need her Super Saiyan form, right? We need her to upgrade really quick because if she's going to be playing in the same arena that Captain Marvel's in or anybody else that we have established already, your Thors, your whoever's, right? If they bring in Riri and they get a new Iron Man character or something like that, you need her to be better than she is now to take on whatever kind of threat. Otherwise, some argue like, why would Superman ever need Batman's help? He's fucking Superman. He could just do whatever he wants to do. Like,
Because Superman's stupid.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying like on paper, there's no reason why Batman should be helpful for a guy like Superman. You know what I mean? Just
Batman's
his power
smart.
set alone. Oh, Jesus.
Superman's
So anyways, this is
Superman's a farm boy, okay?
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
So, but I'm saying
No,
she can
it's not
fly
the brightest.
through. She could fly through like Thanos' ships and stuff like that, and take punches straight to the face. You know, so it's just like, what is?
I get it. So could Superman, but I will also point this out. In the first Superman movie, he literally tells Lois Lane to report how to stop him. All the information Lex needs to take down Superman is provided by Superman. I'm just going to say, oh, I can't see through lead. Oh, kryptonite kills me. All this kind of shit. Like, bruh, what is wrong with you? Batman would never do that.
I'm lactose intolerant. Yeah.
Could you imagine somebody just imagine Batman
That
does
didn't
it?
exist back then.
Lactose intolerant. Yeah.
But you remember when he's telling Lois all this stuff, though, he was trying to get some, man.
He was trying to impress her,
He
man.
was running some game. I
Yeah.
don't know why he thought he
Batman
would
would
impress
never
her.
He's like,
do
I'm
that,
sensitive. I'm vulnerable. You know,
Batman
I'm
would
trying to play
never
that.
do that. That's why the first Batman movie by Tim Burton's kind of bullshit when Batman's like, oh, I fell in
Man,
love.
what's
I'm going
going
to
on
quit
tonight,
everything.
man?
I'm going to quit everything.
Well, it's the last episode, Phable. We don't give a
Yeah,
shit.
this is what we do,
You
man.
guys are killing Batman. You're killing Superman. Manny's killing the whole MCU. What the hell's going on?
What'd you think about the Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel bit?
I initially missed it. I was just like, okay, this is done. Click. I was like done with it. I was like, I'm not going to watch the end credits. Here's that beautiful animation that I didn't get to see since the first show. I'm done with it.
That's
I
why
didn't
in the group chat, like 15 minutes before we went live, you're like, hey guys, there's a post credits. We're like, yeah,
We're
no
like, no
shit.
Yeah, I just
There
wanted
is.
to because I didn't know if other people felt the same way.
No.
And then for all this quote unquote wokeness, at the end of the episode, a white dude drives off in a fly car with the two girls. I was just like, well, okay, I mean, all right.
He's gonna have a bitch when it comes time to re-register that car. When to renew the registration.
I mean,
True.
yeah. Well,
cars
I mean,
from
it's
another
Marv. Yeah, he's got some Wakanda hookups. So
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, I mean,
So-
and then when I saw it, I was like, I mean, pretty much what you thought. I was like, hey, Bree's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't understand the whole flippity flop balloon thing, and I was like, okay, what the hell's going on? And at first, I thought that she like took her body, but then it's kind of obvious when she's looking around the room and she doesn't know where she is. That
Oh, what if the Marvels was like Freaky Friday? It's just Carol and
That's what I
Kamala.
thought for a second. I thought when she was like bugging out, I thought she was like, "What? Look at my body." That's what I thought she was doing. But
Yeah.
then I figured it out.
I wouldn't mind seeing her dead in space, man. I'm just like, I think that would be kind of funny,
Like
man.
the like the maw. I was
You're like,
floating
damn,
around
there
like
goes
this.
Miss Marvel. Yeah, exactly. Like, we gave you guys 6 episodes. That's why.
Hey,
That's why we went
Resurrection Protocol. She's a mutant, bruh.
Well, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
Jesus.
You just wait till
Her
they do the
and Thunderbird.
Hellfire Gala movie. You just wait, guys. Brando's gonna be all over that, man.
I don't want to read this
fucking
issue.
fly on shit.
Her and
At least she's
Thunderbird
not a
all
miracle.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way they try to kayfabe it before.
She's
Yeah,
resurrected.
miracles.
She's an
They're
eternal.
miracles.
She's
So
an
now
eternal.
we did all of them. You know, here comes Kringo. You know, he's really Indian now, but this is before partition. So, you know, he could have originally been from like where Pakistan is now. And, you know, we can make it, you know, let's roll.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Marvel
do it.
Zombies.
Let's
you know, in
storyboard this
space.
right now.
All right, let's rate this episode. So this episode on a scale of 1 to 5, you digs or backlogs or slips or marvels or bullshits or whatever the hell you want to do, or you know, Superman's not as smart as Batman's, whatever. Okay, if you want to do that, you out there in the chat, let us know. What'd you think about this episode of Miss Marvel, episode 6? Manny, kick us off.
Out of five bat chills, I'm gonna go with fuck.
It's hard, man.
I'm gonna go with the
That's what she said.
I'm going with the 2.5. Go with the 2.5. There were some things I really liked.
Wow.
Some things I really liked
Wow.
about this episode, and then there were things that just.
You really don't like that mutant thing, man.
I
Oh my
fucking
god.
not. But I also don't like the half-assery. All right, like if the villain of this film was fucking government Islamophobia, the fucking finale should have taken place at that mosque. They should have showed the ugliness of the government going against that fucking community, and having Cameron and Miss Marvel be a reflection to show what the fuck damage control does when they put implicit bias in front of their fucking in front of their duty and their badge. That's what the fucking ending should have been. But instead they just, it's just a mean white woman. Like, no, they fucking go for it. If you want to say something, fucking say it. You know what I mean? It's like, so I didn't like the half-assery of it. Instead, we overshadow what was a good show about family and heritage and finding your fucking identity. We took all of those cool messages and wrapped them up in Home Alone and fucking foam parties like Mr. fucking Beast. So that is why this episode fails for me. And then and the mutant thing too. Fuck that. But the rest of it, that's what sucked about this show. So many cool themes, and I'm so glad I get to take my daughter and show her this character and show her these messages, but then it gets overshadowed because fucking the pussification of storytelling in this fucking corporate age. So that being said, it's a 2.5. It's a 2.5.
Wow.
Man,
No,
good
night, everyone.
reviews on
I know that
Wednesdays.
you're a guest here, man, but you don't have to censor yourself. You can tell us what you really
Man.
All right. Well, you got some time for Fast and Furious 9? Because
2.5. I'm glad you liked it a little bit more than Brooks and Jelani like Lethal Weapon 4. I'll tell you that. And if nobody watched that episode, you need to, because Mark said it was a 5 and said it was the best of the franchise. So there's some interesting conversation there, especially when he had to defend himself as not being racist against Chinese people. Anyway, Phable, what about you? Out of 5 you digs, what do you give this episode?
Oh man, after hearing Manny go on that rant,
I'm glad you're next, Phable.
Shit. I'm gonna have to give it a 5. No, I'm just I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I've been giving all of these shows a 4. The last one I gave a 3.5 because I think it dropped the ball, and I think this one does the same thing. It redeems it. It is probably a 3. I would say I wouldn't go too low, 2.5. I mean, but it probably is a 3. But I give it 3.5 because, you know, the friends are back, love them. Parents are back, love them. You know, some of the stuff I loved that was missing came back, although crammed in really quick. So, you know, so not 4, 3.5. 3.5 backlog.
Gotcha.
Wow. So you liked episode 5 more than 6, you think?
I liked episode 5 more than 6, probably. Yeah, I
Really?
think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
okay.
so. Yeah.
But they said mutant.
They
Yeah,
said
well,
the
that-
M word.
You know,
That's what gave me the
0.5.
0.5, man.
Just
That's what
label.
got the 0.5 from, man.
What about you, Nick?
Yeah, it's a tough. I definitely like this one more than episode 5. It doesn't have the same magic as the episode 1 and 2 and 3, I would say. And I think the majority of them I gave them a 4. And I think the last one, I think episode 5, I gave it like a 2.5. So I was with Manny in the last episode. I'm gonna go. Damn. I think I'm gonna go 3. 3. think I'm gonna go 3. Just
This
because
is so hard for everybody but Manny.
It is. Well, it's like, again, it doesn't have the same magic that we saw in the first 2 episodes. It was better than the last episode, I think, episode 5, because that was just a fucking train wreck, right? There's so many inconsistencies there, and the cuts were weird.
Are you saying because there were trains involved? Because I don't remember a wreck.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. But I liked it. I liked it more. Good. We got to see her costume. We got an interesting ending, I thought. I didn't mind the very ending of the battle. The school thing sucked, but again, my expectations were in the right spot, I think. Yeah, we lacked a lot of the cool stuff we saw in the beginning, but I think it had a decent ending. The mutant thing kind of sucked, but it was better than episode 5. Not as good as the other ones, so it makes sense for me to give it like a 3. So.
All right. What about you, Taqi?
I'm going to give it 0.3256 Omnicoin, which equals 3 ya digs. No more, no less.
All right.
Gotta get those numbers up.
I mean, I don't want it to make it seem like I don't want people to watch this, or like, even though I did like hate watch a lot of this episode, just because I had big expectations. But the unfortunate thing is I don't even know what my expectations were. It was just like amaze me, and it just kept not amazing me. So it's still a great series.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
I'm going to go 3.5. It was not as good as 1, 2, or 3 at all, but it was a little bit better than 5 for me. So I'll go 3.5. I think that's good. So 3.5 from me and Phable, a 3 from Taqi and Nick, and a 2.5 from Manny. For, let's see, PCP Bad Batch average tonight of 3.169, dudes. Wow. That's great. Real quick, overall, I think the MCU's got a problem. They don't know how to do 6-episode shows. The shows can start strong. They get a little weak. This one, the first 3 episodes blew me away. Yeah. Loved it. They lost that momentum. They never gained it back. This episode was rushed, thus a 3.5. Overall, though, I think I did 4.5 for the first 2 each, 4 for 3, and 5 I did 3, and a 3.5 tonight. So I'm going to go overall. My average for the series is 3.5. What about you, Manny?
I give a good scores to the first 3 episodes. So I don't want to go all Brofisto on this shit, but
Brofisto lives.
It's back.
But we'll go. I'm gonna give it a solid. I'm gonna give it a solid 3. I still think there's a lot of cool themes that are explored here. It didn't stick. It didn't stick the landing for me. But 3.
What about you, Phable?
I think most of the series a 4. I think I gave the last 2 a 3.5. I'm gonna go 3.69.
Nice.
3.69. I think there's a lot to love.
Yeah.
I think the character of Miss Marvel is a lot. It's a lot. She brings a lot to the table. That young actress is awesome. I can't wait to see her growth in anything. Just the MCU movies outside of here. I'd like to see her in other things. So yeah, 3.69.
There's a lot of room for growth and a lot of potential in the series because they can look at what worked and what didn't. And if any of these dudes or women who make these shows have problems figuring that out, all they have to do is watch our show. Right? Because we know exactly what to do. Just the stuff that we liked, keep doing more of that, and stuff we didn't like, kind of tone that down, maybe face it out a little bit better. Something like that. What about you, Nick? What'd you think overall?
I think overall I'm going to give it a 3.5. And because, again, the first few episodes were so strong, but overall, we lacked a consistent villain, right? It shifted constantly. I think we had at least three different villains, right? We had the Clandestine, we had Cameron at the very, very end, and then we had Damage Control. What was there? We had a hint at the Red Daggers, but then that was just momentarily, right? So it didn't have a clear villain. It had a hell of a lot of heart in the beginning.
Oh, and the bullshit Zoe stuff.
Oh,
like Zoe's just all of a sudden on their fucking side, like with no development. Like, what the fuck?
Well, she saved my life, Robbie. She saved my. It's the least I could do.
Yeah,
I can turn around my whole shitty personality because of that So,
You're right.
but no, we didn't have a good villain. We had a lot of heart. Family dynamics were awesome. I think we enjoyed the hell out of that. I think we all agree it was too short. They should have expanded it a little bit. The CGI was not great, but it was, it worked with her when they did her, when they had like her CGI jumping through the stuff. I think it worked there. The powers were a little bit funky. I think they developed them at a decent pace. I think if we got like what we had at the very end of this series in the beginning, we'd be like, how the hell do you know how to do all this stuff? So I like the whole training montage of that, and I liked how she progressed, and I think that made sense at the pace that they did that in. I think it was very, very charming, and it was cool. But again, we said it over and over. If they kept the same visual style that they had in the very beginning of this, and they put it through the whole thing, made this 8 episodes, and had a better villain, and cleaned up a little of the CGI, I think it would be one of the better MCU shows, top two or three, for sure, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna go 3.5 on that.
What about you, Taqi?
I'm gonna go with 4, just because there's just too much that I did like, and it overpowers everything else. I mean, we have the whole not CGI, but the Scott Pilgrim effect of episode 1, and we have in episode 2, Grab the Zamzam and Illuminantes and Eid, and in episode 3 we have the wedding. And then in episode 4, we have the biryani in a bag, and we have them racing in rickshaws. In episode 5, we have her fine ass great grandmother, and
yeah, it's a lot.
And in episode 6, I got Brie Larson at the end. So yeah, I'll give it a 4.
Yeah,
and when I rewatch it, I'll be skipping over a lot of stuff. Not a lot of stuff, but maybe like
episode 5,
10 to 15%.
Gotcha.
I'll be skipping over.
I mean, overall, see, we all like the show. It is interesting to see our journey, and I'm really glad we did this for this show, because to see our journey, we were all like so shocked and surprised that first episode.
Yeah,
we were all like, "Holy shit!" Steph gave it a 5. You know what I'm saying? Like we were loving that shit, and then we were loving it forever. And we were talking about all these new things we were learning and shit about their culture, and then like how much we loved how they were portraying it and all that stuff. And then they ditch it all out, and you see our disappointment and bewilderment. And now here we are where we are. And once again, MCU, Disney Plus kind of let us down a little bit in the end. My favorite overall is still going to be WandaVision, but
for sure,
this one's really solid, I think. And as far as budgetary stuff, I think the highest budget probably went to Loki, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, that's it, y'all. That's what we thought. That's exciting. So we're done. Miss Marvel, this is over. So we'll be back next month, though, after a few Whiplash Wednesdays off, with She-Hulk. We'll be talking about She-Hulk. And I'm rather excited for that. Big John Byrne fan. I would love to be able to squeeze in time to revisit the John Byrne run. I don't know how much of that they'll pull from, but it would be cool to have that fresh in my mind. So I may try to do that. Anyway, coming here, PCP. Well, first of all, at Dylan's Horror Show, Saturday night, we're talking about The Ninth Configuration, which I watched last night, which is in fact not a horror film. It's actually a psychodrama. I don't know if Dylan realizes this is a psychological drama. And honestly, I don't know if he's going to get a lot of it, but I thought it was rather fascinating. And I'm excited to talk about it. By the way, it's bookended by the fucking cheesiest openings and endings of a movie, but it's William Peter Blatty. It's the second middle part of his Faith trilogy, Exorcist this, and then Exorcist 3, aka Legion, greatest psychological thriller of the 90s. And then Action Fest continues on Monday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, with The French Connection.
Oh, nice.
Very, very excited to talk about that movie. Manny, what's coming up, bro?
Well, we got Take That Thursday tomorrow. The Chamorro Show live. We're gonna talk about the best video game of the year 2000. I think if we have a show, that's what it'll be. And then let's see. There's just the regular old Manny's different perspective stuff going on. So there'll be a bunch of short comic book reviews. I really don't have anything else planned that's done. I have a bunch of clips of stuff that's not done. So fuck, Robbie? Why didn't I just say nothing else? That would have been so much,
Yeah,
easier.
probably a little bit better. I think you're a little shook still after your rating for Miss Marvel episode.
Yeah, his blood pressure is still high. He's not thinking straight.
Oh,
Yeah.
You calm down. You need to smoke a dude when this is over, man.
Right.
Fable,
That's great.
what's coming up, man?
We got Fable's got you covered tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll be joined by my brother John Thomas. We're going
John
over New Comic
Thomas.
Book Day.
John.
Yep. New Comic Book Day picks for the following New Comic Book Day. And then, of course, this Sunday, we got Blaine Fable Tonight with Missing Link and Big Herm. And I'll be joined by Papa Boom himself, Rockin Robbie, on this show. And we'll be reviewing one of his favorite movies. So I hope it's good, Robbie. I really do.
Oh, bro, you're in for a treat, bro.
It's called Go. 1999 comedy action kind of movie, I think.
Yeah, it's a little Tarantino-esque. It's really good.
Yeah, so looking forward to that, man. Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern on IG Live.
Hell yeah. Directed by Doug Liman. It was his follow-up to Swingers. It was really,
Yeah.
really solid
Yeah.
movie.
Looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. Nick, what's coming up, man?
Yeah, I did the double drop today. So what came out and what I picked up, little preview to Nick at Night, which is coming on Friday. Just the non-spoiler comic book review show. So appreciate anyone who's going around to see that. You can check it out right here at onlyfans.com/comic culture right over there. I think I got another 1,500 subs during this, so I appreciate that bump, Robbie. So thank you so
Nice.
much for that. So
I wish they would have watched this show then.
I'm starting to wonder if you're really on OnlyFans now.
I may or may not have looked into how to actually make an OnlyFans just for the bit, but anyway.
Oh, man. And all of a sudden you start getting people on there, more people there than Patreon. You're like, what the fuck have I done?
Shout out to the Patreons.
I don't know,
so-
Taqi.
It's just
I don't
pictures
know,
of your
Taqi.
feet. It's just pictures of your feet next to comic books.
Oh yeah, I'm one bad day away from selling pictures of my feet on the internet.
Fable may know, but there was a comic book reviewer who used to post reviews on Pornhub.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Wow.
Well, I don't,
Well, for research purposes, I should probably.
Yeah, it was for research. I mean, he wasn't like naked or nothing. He was like talking about some risque books, but
Oh,
it was
wow.
for adults only on Pornhub. And it was,
Yeah.
okay, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if Nick has OnlyFans because judging by his background, he's clearly at his local high school.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Well, maybe that makes sense.
got
Zoe's like, I
Yeah.
film my videos here because the lighting's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
you're
perfect.
right.
It's perfect.
You're right.
It's perfect here. And the best game of 2000 is Diablo 2, Manny. So there's your whole show.
No,
I know. When did
it's
Conker's Bad
WrestleMania.
Fur Day come out?
Doesn't matter.
When did Conker's Bad Fur Day come out?
Uh,
That might be
remember.
2000.
might be.
If that's 2000, that's it. I don't know. I'm just gonna say. Did you say what was coming up, Nick?
Yeah, Nick at Night Friday night. Nick at Night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. It's like the fourth best comic book review show on YouTube.
Second on only.
Second on OnlyFans.
Fourth on YouTube.
I gotta check out the first. I gotta see who the first is.
Yeah, I can't compete. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Taqi, what's coming up, bro?
If
Any
you
real
guys could-
content?
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, it really depends. I mean, I need to do some talking head stuff because I don't have anything more to really do a haul video with. So either I'm going to do some pops that I've had for a couple years on Saturday, or you're going to hear me talk about Vivi. I'm hoping for Vivi, but you might get pops. So check out the video on this weekend. Check out last week's video. Let me know what you think. There's some building blocks there that I'm hoping to be able to improve upon. So
Screw that, dude. Do the VV one live and I'll join you. How about that?
I don't want to do any more live streams because my phone rings and
blame
then
you.
it's across the room
blame
and then
you.
I
I
have
don't
to go
blame you.
get it. And then what am I going to do? Like,
hear
okay,
you.
guys.
What's this? Chopped liver, bro? This is a live stream.
This live stuff's for chumps. I can't.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking
First
about
off,
over there. Like,
First
what
off,
do you say?
Robbie produces this stuff. Don't think this is like Comic Tom one take and it's all this is like Comic Tom rehearsing take after take after take. And even though it looks like they're just talking, those are like 5 takes each one of the times they put it on each one of them. Robbie produces the hell out of this. This isn't just, we show up and talk about stuff. So
I thought that's exactly what it was.
okay.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
At about 4:30, I got. Hey,
Well,
do you want to show up and talk about stuff?
Well,
So
today. I mean, but we're at the very end here. At the beginning, I was like, damn, Robbie is on it. Oh, he's on it. He has a little outline and like.
Yeah. The cool thing is
Brandon almost got kicked off for playing music. And
yep. I don't play that shit,
phone,
man. I don't play this. Ain't goddamn whatnot. You don't be fucking playing your stereo in the background, man. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here, man. Notice he ain't been back.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
He's hustling. That's what he's doing. He's
hustling.
He's
Yeah,
hustling.
sure. That's what he's doing, man. Go
Yeah,
Brandon. Go.
Yeah,
No,
go.
I shouldn't say that. Fuck. I don't
No,
even know. What I'm,
Oh, now it's a whole different thing now.
yeah, that's a whole different thing now. He's
Good
got to
Lord.
change his name. Anyway, where the fuck were we going? Yeah, I'm excited for Blame Phable tonight because the guest is somebody who I love probably more than anybody. And thank you guys for coming on. Oh, I was going to say, just so you know, PCP Movie Night's got a rundown too, and it's been the same one for like 5 years. Manny knows. He gets them, and he's like, "Why do you even send me a rundown?" That's what Brooks and Jelani tell me. I'm like,
what I don't understand is I get the rundown, and I'm still always fucking surprised when we have to talk about the music. I'm like,
Damn.
no shit. Miss Marvel had good music all the way through.
Yes.
Every episode.
Yeah.
Every
And we
episode.
know why it wasn't Guns N' Roses.
It wasn't
true.
like just filled with nothing but Guns N' Roses.
Well, no. I was always like, okay, why did they choose Bon Jovi? That really troubled me. And then all of a sudden, when I saw Thor, I was like, that's why they chose Bon Jovi. I got it.
With the anti Guns N' Roses.
Well, it was just I'm thinking that like her parents are my age. So if I'm going to choose a hard rock band from my age, it's Guns N' Roses all day, every day. Not Bon Jovi, but
It's the Jersey connection too, though.
Yeah,
well, yeah. That's kind of what I was settling on, and then I saw Thor, and I was like, there you go.
All right.
So it wasn't enough that in the first episode they were like, "This is why we like Bon Jovi."
It wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, fair enough. You needed that last nail in the coffin. I get it. Yeah.
Why didn't they play like just a little like stripped down Sweet Child of Mine riff while he was talking to her on the roof? That would have been synergy, Disney. Why don't you guys do your fucking job? And that would have inspired people to go watch.
He's got his energy back.
Because Kevin Feige's like, you think we're made out of money? Do you know how much that Guns N' Roses shit cost in Thor: Love and Thunder?
Well, they played "Living on a Prayer" in episode 3. So
well, Brown Jovi did.
Yeah.
Brown Jovi.
Was it Brown Jovi playing that? No,
it was the actual one. No.
Yeah. You can't tell the difference.
Exactly. That's a good cover band, man.
That is.
Yeah.
All right.
Really
Well,
good.
we're out till next month when we got She-Hulk. So everybody just enjoy and just watch some good quality TV and chill with your homies and talk about it. And man, this has been fun, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us each and every week. We appreciate it. Yeah, I guess that's it. So I guess for the last time, pop, pop, boom up in the room and ooh, I'm blinded by the light. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. Thanks for the harmony.